on the Cambridge Ball State Cardinals Sports Network. From Learfield, welcome to the Varsity House Birdfeed on the Ball State Cambridge Network. Here is your host, Joel Godett.
It's important the Cards start fast here. They did last week on the very first play. I don't know if that's going to happen today.
Jalen McGoy is one of the four wide receivers. He has played seldom this year. Snap on first down, Quick back to throw, and he's looking deep for McGoy at the 50, over the shoulder, he caught it, streaking down the sideline, Jalen McGoy, 75 yards and a touchdown. Rich, I don't know where he came from, but he can stay. 2 weeks in a row, Ball State scores on the first play from scrimmage, and it's 6-0, 11 seconds in.
We just talked about that, and I didn't know. I by all means, I never thought they could do it again, but
45-20. The Cardinals haven't used the phrase run it back since their loss to Penn State. They may not say it out loud, but the mentality in Muncie has changed. Daddy's home. Welcome into the Bird Feed Live. We come your way from the LA Pittenger Student Center here on the campus of Ball State University in Muncie, Indiana. Joel Godett, Bryce Cosby, and Mike Neu. We can make that arrangement, though, Coach, if you're so inclined. It was just kind of the emotion of the moment. But, yeah, Daddy's home seemed like the emotion of that game afterward. Christian Albright said into the camera after the Brett Anderson scoop and score for the final touchdown, he said, the MAC West runs through us. Certainly after Saturday, that has been the shift in tone and the shift in tenor. Mike, what's the shift in momentum feel like for you guys?
Oh, I'm just proud of the guys. Obviously a lot had been talked about going into this game and the previous game and all that, but our guys are mentally tough. Our guys stick by each other's side through any adversity that we have. Just proud of our guys for a great team win on the road. Hadn't been done since 2013 there in Kalamazoo, so just proud of our guys because it was an awesome day for the Cardinals.
Bryce Cosby, you are the MAC West Player of the Week on the defensive side of the football now. First time in your career, you said?
Yes, sir. Yep.
How's it feel to be the best player in the MAC on defense this past week?
I mean, it feels good, all glory to God. But, I'd be dismissed if I just, didn't point out the great game plan that Coach Stockton and our pass game coordinator, Jay-Z, Coach McKenzie, Coach Conley, all of our GAs, Nate Money, Coach Deckard. Everybody involved, it's a collective effort. They put together a great game plan. The scouts gave us a great look all week, and then I think it's all phases of the defense. I have a great D-line. I've got linebackers that fly around. I believe in the guys on the back end, and, I'm motivated to go out there and just give it my all for my guys every week. So, definitely a blessing, great accomplishment, and, ready to move on to Eastern.
45-20 was the final score on Saturday against Western Michigan, a team that was receiving votes coming into that game with all the momentum as well, having knocked off a Power 5 opponent. They were 4-1 on the season, but the Cardinals, particularly in the second half, pretty systematically dismantling Western Michigan. Bryce, let's start with the defensive side of things. Mm-hmm. Have you ever hit somebody as hard as you hit Caleb Ellaby in your life?
Anytime I get a clean shot, I try to give it my all. So, I'll let the people be the judge of that. But, I just, kind of timed it up good. They didn't really account for me in the pickup as far as the O-line or their tight end or their running back. And, yeah, he turned away from me and kind of pumped it. When I seen him pump and he didn't release it, I knew I had to take my shot, and, that's what I did.
So Western Michigan doesn't turn the football over. Mm-hmm. That's their third turnover all season. Their prior two had come in one game, mm-hmm. Both against an FCS foe, for whatever that's worth. So their first turnover against an FBS opponent all season. Mm-hmm. But that seemed like it changed the tenor of the game. And, I don't know if Caleb Ellaby was comfortable after that point in terms of the way that he was dancing around the pocket. Obviously, he throws 2 interceptions after that. He fumbles again a couple more times. Mm-hmm. Did you feel a shift after that play and that caused fumble?
It was a big possession. It was 14-7. They had put together a couple good drives early, so as an offense, they were pretty confident at that point. It was 3rd and 3, so it was a down we wanted to win. And, the play we only called that once the entire game. So it went 1 for 1, 100% during the game. So, it was I just, like I said, I just try to help the team in any way I can. I knew that, there was a play to be made in that play. And, I just do my best to go hard and do whatever I can to contribute. And so, yeah, luckily, I made the hit. The ball came out, and Kyron Mims, he came and, got a good scoop, and our offense capitalized right afterwards.
Mike, you're obviously an offensive guy. You were a quarterback back in your playing days, offensive coach all throughout your career. But if you go back to the Wyoming game and you take it from halftime forward, you guys, broken down by quarter, you do the math, you extrapolate out, you guys are averaging 16.4 points per game defensively allowed from that point 3.5 games ago. Over the course of the season, that would put you as the 15th best defense in the country. You guys a defensive football team?
No question. Obviously, defense wins championships. We saw that up close and in person a year ago. I think what our guys are doing right now from a confidence standpoint, flying around the football field, to cause 4 turnovers the other day. We had 4 sacks getting after the quarterback. Obviously, our guys thrive in those key situations like that. And just to see what took place there after they scored 17 points in the first half, they scored 14 early. They were converting on some of the third downs. And then, you talk about really changing the course of the game with what we were doing to them on third down, stopping them, and then causing the turnovers. And really, it was awesome just to see that take place. And you heard Bryce give the credit. It tells you a lot about Bryce and how humble he is. But it's been awesome. Obviously, I get a chance to see our defense up close and in person every day in practice, and it's just great to see the confidence and the playmaking ability and different games. There's different guys stepping up in each game, which is awesome to see. And
even to go even deeper than that, Mike, on both of those touchdown drives early for Western, there were penalties that prolonged those drives, and one of them was like that incidental. Clayton Call got tremendous pressure, jumped up in the air, and his hand came down and kind of incidentally grabs Caleb Elby's face mask on a third down. That would have been a punt. They score the touchdown. So,
no question, those are aggressive mistakes that you love to see.
100%.
And, you can certainly live with those. And I think it's all when you see 4 different players register a sack in the game. It'd be one thing if there was one player that was registering 4 sacks and somebody could key on that player and try to take him out of the game plan. But you see 4 different guys getting sacks. You see guys stepping up all over the field, at different times. You think about that play down in the red zone that Christian Albright made where he matched hands. Coach Conley works on that drill every single day in practice with all the position groups matching hands. And, he executed that to perfection the other day, which was awesome. It was awesome to see.
All right, so we know Western Michigan's a good football team. Came in receiving votes. They've played Michigan, who's the 8th-ranked team in the country. They played Pittsburgh. They played San Jose State. They played Buffalo. None of those teams forced a turnover. You guys forced them all over the place. What did you know that nobody else knows? What was different? How did you guys do something to a really good team that no one else has figured out?
I think it's 2 things. If you turn on the film, a couple of their past games, it was, a couple just missed opportunities. There were teams that had chances to kind of get one here, get one there on them, and, they missed out on that opportunity. That's one. And then it's just the emphasis going into the week. We were well aware as a defense that they weren't really committing turnovers. So we wanted to make it a mission that, we were going to be the people to flip the script on that note. And so, Coach Stockton, he had us doing circuits all week as far as just, trying to take the ball away. Any way he could emphasize it, he would. And, like I said a couple weeks ago, whatever the coaches emphasize, I feel like us as players, we do a good job of just buying into that. And, we saw it on full display on Saturday.
And, Mike, what I think is cool about it is even the interceptions, sometimes an interception is a one-man play. Like a guy just goes up and makes a great play on a ball. But the 2 interceptions that you guys had, one of them looked like Caleb Elby threw the ball into a jugs machine and it shot it back out the other direction. So, you got a body on the receiver, the ball pops up in the air, you got somebody with the presence of mind in Jay Thomas to catch the thing. And then the other one was an underthrown ball because of pressure that Clayton Call was able to intercept. What did you like about the way that you guys played team defense that created those opportunities?
Well, it's awesome. And like Bryce said it best, we capitalized when we had the opportunity. When Clayton picked that off, we had pressure in the pocket. We hit LB, and obviously, that caused a little bit of a change in his delivery, and Clayton capitalized and made the play. And sometimes those are the hardest ones to catch, the ones that are right there when you have an opportunity. And then, to see the instincts of Jay Thomas to make that play after it ricocheted off a helmet there and came back at the line of scrimmage and his basketball skills from Lima High School came into play right there, and he went up and got it, and that was an unbelievable play. I don't think anybody realizes how difficult and how how amazing of a play that was, laying down like that and to finish the deal off. So it was, again, it was great to see our guys, in so many different areas take advantage of great opportunities, and Coach Stock called a great game, and it was a lot of fun to be a part of.
For people that don't know, Jay Thomas is, I think he's listed at 6'1". He jumped center on his high school basketball team. So very much
true.
Yeah.
And that's true.
Very much came into effect on that particular interception. Mike, I want to talk a little bit about the offense as well. First things first, will the first play against Eastern Michigan this week go for a touchdown?
Let's hope so. That's why you work all week long. Again, great job by Drew reading the defense. Great job by Jalen just running. Obviously we ran 4 verticals first play of the game. They played cover 2, and obviously when you get a guy like Justin Hall that's in the slot, he did a great job of grabbing the safety's attention, because certainly he was the half player that, obviously it was great to see Jalen running down that sideline and Drew deliver a throw, and started with the guys up front giving them time.
Bryce, what'd you think? You were up 7-0, 12 seconds in last week. It only took 11 this time around. Put your nerves at ease a little bit to start a game that way on defense?
Man, I'm loving it. I'm like, wow, let's start every week like this. But, it's like Coach Neu said, it's just, great feeling. Seeing guys, make plays. Jalen's a guy that we know he has big playability, so to see him, step up and come through clutch for us early there, it was a great feeling.
Mike, how good was it for you to be able to get a guy like that involved? Because I know Jalen's been in the plan for you. It hasn't come to fruition. Why was this week the week? Because he had another one later in the game, too, that was a tough catch that hit him in the hands. But if he had brought that down, 130 yards receiving on 2 catches, that's a pretty good answer.
Yeah, well, obviously we started the game in 10 personnel, so we had 4 wideouts out there, and Jalen works hard every week, and obviously it's so tough sometimes to rotate, and because when you put Jalen in, you take a guy like Johans out, or
Sure.
you take a guy like Justin out, or you take a guy like Jay Sean out. So it was great to see that little package there, and he works hard. He works hard every day out there in practice, and so we just got to build on that. Just no different than we did building on a week ago, and I think guys had a great week of practice, and we're ready to roll.
The second Johans Tyler touchdown, that was not the play call, I'm imagining. Was it just really good instincts by Drew Plitt to realize he had an uncovered receiver?
Well, it was an RPO, if you will. So we had an inside zone called, and that's access throw to Johans, if you will. And if they give us the look, then obviously we got a one-on-one matchup with Johans. If they don't give us a look, then we still got a good box to run the football. And so I know the safety was supposed to be over the top. They were trying to disguise it, trying to bait Drew, if you will, into the throw. And then once the ball snapped, safety was supposed to be over the top, and he didn't get there. And thanks to Drew's instincts, obviously he took the throw and executed it, and Johans, did the rest of the deal there.
I was going to say, how did you get the corner to not cover him? That's the art of drawing up a play.
Well, it always probably looks bad. It looks like it's on the corner, but in reality, it was a safety that was supposed to be getting back over the top right there to take that throw away. And I know when you're watching it at field level or perhaps on TV, it might look like it's on the corner, but it really was the safety supposed to be over the top there.
Really good day in all phases, though, because we touch on offense, we touch on defense, special teams for you. Well, I guess good day, good and bad, because you had the onside kick there. So it's got to be good to see that it worked, even though it was about a half yard too early in the recovery by Malcolm Lee. And then did you send the punt fumble into is that a league office reviewable thing in terms of, because it looked like Jimmy Daw got blocked in the back.
Yeah.
Otherwise you had another turnover there.
The question was asked on the field right there. It's non-reviewable because I asked him on the field because the guys up top in the booth were saying that we didn't touch him. He backed up into his own guy there, and so, but it's a non-reviewable play, which is disappointing. And then on the onside kick, Bryce witnessed it just like I did all week. We executed it flawlessly all week long in practice, and Coach Doherty and Sam Constantino, our special teams quality control, they did such a good job all week, and we knew with the time of possession that Western possessed the ball. We wanted to try to steal a possession, and just a split second early, but it was a great execution, and just a near miss right there, but the credit goes to Coach Doherty and for, that's what you work all week long to try to figure out a way. How can you take advantage of something if it presents itself on film?
How good did the day feel? Like, it's one of those where, Mike, you don't want to get caught up in it's one game. And I know immediately in the locker room after the fact, you said, on to the next one. We've got unfinished business and more work to do. But with the way that the season had started, is there an exhale that comes with a day like that?
I wouldn't say exhale, but, it definitely feels great winning. I'm not going to lie about that. It's a great feeling to win because there's a lot of work, a lot of sacrifice that's put in through the week. And, the end result you want to be is a win. And so, we felt the disappointment and the suffering from losing. And so when you do get a win, you know how to savor that. You know how to really appreciate that moment. So, I wouldn't say it's a exhale or take our foot off the gas, but anytime you can go on the road, in conference, in your division, hostile crowd in Kalamazoo and get a win, it's a great feeling. Nobody in our locker room had ever won there before. So, it was a great feeling to go and do that. And like you said, it's just on to the next one.
Same sentiment?
Yeah, but, for me, I just want to push pause in the locker room. Those moments together in the locker room, because that's who you work. You work all week long together. You go through meetings together. You go through practice together. A lot of watching film when the lights are off and a lot of hours that you spend that way together trying to put together a game plan for the guys to go out and let them do their thing and play fast and play confident. So when you have, those moments in the locker room are they're as good as it gets, because you're singing your fight song. It's so loud that you really could probably blow the ceiling off the locker room, the visiting locker room there. And so it's such an awesome feeling. And if you could just push pause on that for a second, those are the things I really appreciate, and I try not for 1 second to ever take those for granted.
That's head coach Mike Neu. Bryce Cosby joining us here. Ball State 45-20 over the Western Michigan Broncos on Saturday. This is the Birdfeed Live presented by Varsity House, streaming on YouTube, on demand on the Chirp Cast podcast feed, and broadcast across the state of Indiana on the ISC Sports Network as well. The thing that I kept thinking of at the end of the game, there was a clip at the end of the bowl game last year where Anthony Todd looks into the camera and says, "It's Ball State against the world, just keep doubting us." Is there a certain aspect to all of this of, like, you guys were a 12-point underdog going into this game. Do you just really relish the fact that people look at you and go, no, and then you can turn the script and turn it on its head, and there's a piece to all of this that's really fun in proving people wrong?
I feel like any true competitor should love that. You should love being the underdog. You should love being doubted. And I feel like we can all relate to the underdog story. We're all here, at Ball State. There's a lot of guys that grew up in Indiana that, might have wanted to go to Indiana, Purdue, but they didn't get that opportunity. And so, now we're granted with this opportunity and a chance to do something special here and make the most of it. And so, I think we all just really bought into that. We really, the team chemistry's through the roof. Through thick and thin, we've always had a strong bond and a love for each other. Everybody gets along. Everyone wants to go hard for each other. And so when you mix that together and, people doubting you, I think it just brings us together even closer and, brings that will amongst the team that, we got to go out there and do this for us, for us, the people who do believe in us. And, that's all that matters.
I feel like the line, Mike, was the best gift that anybody could give you going into that game from a motivation standpoint.
I know what this team's all about, and certainly we've had our backs against the wall before, and it tells you about the mental toughness, it tells you about the heart, it tells you about the competitive edge of our team. And I already knew going into the game and through the week, I knew we were ready to go, and I thought, our director of video operations did a great job of setting the stage, Nick Kincaid, the motivational video that we had at the hotel.
Where did he get the quotes that he used?
Listen, I don't know, but I know it's always going to be good. I don't even ever get a sneak peek anymore because I know it's going to be good. I don't even get a sneak peek. So I saw it for the first time on Saturday morning, right before we got on the bus, and I'm telling you, if the door was locked and we couldn't get out, we'd have got out because we would run through the door and straight to the bus, and we'd have been ready. We were ready to go, and it was awesome. It was just a great, perfect message and great way to just really jumpstart the day.
Bryce, how hype was the video?
I'm listening. I'm like, this is what they were saying about it? Because, I don't pay any attention to it, but I'm listening. I'm like, dang, this is what they were saying about us? So, yeah, it definitely gave you a a little bit more juice, ready to go for game day.
It's like, you can say that I don't think this is real, but I'm angry.
Yeah.
Mike, a couple of things about some individuals before we jump forward. Guys that stood out that I don't want to say
Bryce Cosby.
Well, yeah, certainly. Bryce Cosby, 10 tackles, a sack, a TFL, a forced fumble. PBU got him Player of the Week in the Mid-American Conference. But a couple other guys defensively. One of whom we've talked a little bit about. Anthony Ekpe had been injured. This was his third game this season. His presence makes such a difference for you, does it not?
He was awesome down the stretch there when we had a lead and we knew that they were going to have to, in order to get themselves back into it or have a chance anyway, we knew that they were going to have to throw the ball somehow, some way. And, man, you just seeing those guys, obviously Anthony, you mentioned him, but just seeing him and Christian and, Jordan Ward and Tavion, just seeing those guys getting after the quarterback, his presence was felt. And obviously I'm so thankful. And, he looks healthy, he looks great. And it's so awesome to have him back there and being such a big impact player for us.
The other guy's JT Wahi, who kind of flies under the radar last year because he comes in as a grad transfer and he plays a role for you, but he's behind Antonio and he's behind AJ at the corner spot, so he plays a little bit of safety, but again, he's behind Bryce and he's behind Brett Anderson. Now he is in a much different role for you. Finished second with 9 tackles on Saturday. What has he meant and what role has he played that maybe has gone unseen because of who he's been behind and how he's worked in?
I'm going to let Bryce go first on that because he's with him every day in those meeting rooms, and he knows just like how valuable JT is to our program, to our team, and to our defense.
No, JT, that's my guy. He's another guy that brings a lot of veteran experience to the group, that veteran presence. He's all about business. JT probably goes to sleep at 9 p.m. every night and wakes up at like 5 a.m. with no alarm set. And I wish I was lying. That's just the guy JT is, though. He's always at the facility. He's always a guy I can count on to be there to watch film. He's always taking care of his body. And to be frank, JT's probably the most athletic guy in our whole entire DB corps. Last year in practice, I seen him make a one-hand catch that was ridiculous. And so, he jumps with ease. If you ever watch him, when he makes a tackle, he gets up with ease. It's the smoothest get up I've ever seen in my life. But no, JT, that's my guy. He's the most versatile guy in our group. We can put him at corner. We can put him at safety. He's a willing tackler. He's rangy. He can cover. You saw his physicality against Army on a couple plays, and you saw him against Penn State high point the ball on the deep post. He's just an all-around great DB, and someone I'm forever thankful for that he joined our program last year, and he's just provided us with a great amount of depth, experience, and swagger.
I tell JT all the time he wears number 14 better than anybody has in our program. And Bryce is right. Everything that he does, man, that's smooth. What's it like to be that smooth? And he's so calm and cool all the time. And he's got just that it's a confident smile that he's always got on his face. And we've asked him to do so many different things and perform so many different roles. And it tells you how unselfish he is. It tells you how smart he is. Tells you, how highly that the coaching staff thinks of him to be able to put him in those situations week after week, whatever the game plan, whatever adjustment, whatever wrinkle. But JT's one of those guys that, and he's been such a great addition to our program. Obviously, when we lost him a year ago to the injury, it's so great to see him come back from that. And, he certainly is one of those guys, you're going to get his best effort week in, week out. And, he's always going to be where he needs to be, and he's always going to be ready to play. Whenever the ball is kicked off. Do
you take a special pride in who wears 14 on this roster?
Well, I'm proud.
Is that the toughest Cardinal jersey?
Yeah. No. But I like watching. It's fun to watch him go to work and wear that. So I tease him about that all the time. But he wears it better than anybody else has.
It's Mike Neu. It's Bryce Cosby. This is the Birdfeed Live presented by Varsity House Muncie. We are live on YouTube, on the Chirp Cast podcast feed, and on the ISC Sports Network. We'll talk Eastern Michigan, where the Cardinals head Saturday at 2 o'clock when we return here in Muncie.
Hey, how much for those lessons?
Shh. She's doing great.
Oh, yeah, totally. Can you pass me a Pepsi Zero Sugar? Great job, honey! Oh, look at that. That's not the end.
No way. Now it's time for the encore.
You know what? You're right. 5 times? Not enough times.
For everyone who traded in rock concerts for their kids' recitals, you've compromised enough. Pepsi Zero Sugar. That's what I like.
While new vehicles may be harder to come by recently, Stoops Automotive has stocked their inventory with plenty of new-to-you vehicles to help you find the perfect ride. Cars, trucks, SUVs, all quality pre-owned at drive-home prices. And Stoops Automotive has an amazing staff to help you find exactly what you're looking for. Stoops Automotive, East Central Indiana's used car headquarters for over 30 years.
Visit them today on West Clare Lane in Muncie or at stoopsauto.com.
Stoops, we're driven to be the best.
See dealer for details. Imagine a commercial construction company that approaches every project as if it was their own property. Imagine one that makes decisions based on the core values as much as the bottom line. And imagine one that takes immense pride in both the projects and relationships it builds. It exists, and it's called Pridemark Construction. Pridemark Construction is a full-service commercial construction company backed by decades of industry experience with the capacity to complete both large and small projects that exceed client expectations. Proud of Ball State Athletics and proud of Ball State University.
Hey, hey, look, hey, look.
This is the Birdfeed Live. The Cardinals victorious 45-20 against Western Michigan on the road on Saturday. They'll be back on the road this Saturday, taking on the Eastern Michigan Eagles. Mike Neu, Bryce Cosby, Joel Godett continue to break this one down. Eastern Michigan is one of those sneaky programs, Coach, because they haven't won it all in the recent past, but they're always a team that can be the reason you don't. Chris Creighton's done a tremendous job, the longest tenured coach in this league since he's been there. They're gritty, they're hard-nosed, they're tough, and I know that's like cliche. It's like, what do you say about a team? Oh, they're gritty, they're hard-nosed, they're tough, but I feel like when you go play them, you feel the fact that you went and played them. Is that an accurate statement?
It is, and everything you just said right there is accurate about Eastern Michigan and their program and the job that Coach Creighton has done there. And you know they're going to be ready to play on Saturday. So whatever game they might have been in the week before, whatever game they might have been in 2 weeks before, you know they're going to be ready to play on Saturday. And they just won a close game the other day, 13-12 at home there against Miami, and we're in a tight one the week before to open up the MAC season against Northern Illinois on the road, and so they're going to be ready to play, and obviously for us, it's all, obviously after that Western trip was over, we got back, it was on to the next one. We're going to take advantage of today. It's fall break, and so we're going to take advantage of a little extra time we have to study some tape today, tomorrow, before the guys have to go back to class again on Wednesday.
Bryce, when you look at the league in general, I saw a tweet this morning that Brett McMurphy sent out. It listed the undefeated teams left in every league. And there were 8 of the 10 Power 5 Group of 5 conferences. The only 2 that were missing were the Pac-12 and the MAC.
Okay.
And I say that from the standpoint of parity. Because you look across this league, and I think all but maybe 2 of the teams are 3-3. And don't quote me on that one, but it's an ungodly percentage of the league that is 3-3. What does that tell you about what you run into week in and week out in this league, and almost in this era of conference realignment, like who fits where and who goes here? Like, this league seems so perfectly and well constructed, top to bottom, that you have no on and off weeks.
I mean, it's the beauty of the MAC. That action, that's what comes with it. I learned pretty early in my college career, just, seeing the conference from afar, every week's going to be competitive. Every week everyone has a chance to win and everyone has a chance to lose. Simple as that. There's not really any clear-cut favorites that you might see in some of these other conferences where, one team might be struggling for a period of time. It's not really like that. Most of the kids that are in the MAC come from the same area, the Midwest. Most people have played with or against somebody in the league in high school. So, it's a familiarity with, the competition in the MAC, and I think that plays a factor as well. But, I think it just makes things, that much more fun, knowing that, week in and week out it could come down to one possession. And, it just really makes us as players and coaches put more emphasis on the details because at the end of the day, that's what's going to get us to the promised land.
Yeah, Northern Illinois was winless last year. The Huskies right now are the only undefeated team in conference left on the western side of things. They're in first place. So it just goes to that up and down or anybody can do it nature of things. Mike, when you look toward what you want to accomplish this Saturday, talked about a lot of the good stuff that happened this past Saturday in Kalamazoo. The one thing that I know Coach talked about, that Coach Spizak talked about, is that how long can you continue to be successful without being able to run the football the way you guys want to against a really blue-collar, hard-nosed, they've been known for their defensive front over the last couple of years. How do you get a run game going this weekend in Ypsi?
Obviously, that's something you're every single week you want to be able to run the ball effectively, and so we've had a few moving parts up front on the offensive line, and it was good to get some of those guys back into action the other day. It was good to get Curtis back after a few weeks off, and we moved Anthony to left guard and Ethan Crow up to center. He's a young guy, and obviously it was good to have Caleb back in the lineup. So that's something every week that you want to do well, and so that hasn't changed. Obviously, we're going to go into it. What are the things that we do well up front with our offensive line? What are the things from a scheme standpoint that we do well? We got to continue to build on those, and you're going to have a few tweaks here and there every week just because of the opponent, just because of front of the team that you're playing. So we're just going to keep after it. Coach Johnson does as good a job as anybody I've been around in terms of preparing his guys, and it's tough, man. Nobody really appreciates how difficult it is in the trenches on either side of the ball. Obviously they think, well, you should just be able to run it. But each team and each opponent that you play, everybody's got different strengths and weaknesses. But we just stay after it. That's what we do, and we'll get ourselves back where we need to be.
How do we feel about gray turf?
That's what they have, so that's what we'll play on.
Does it make it hard to watch the film? That's what I want to know. I like unique things, so I enjoy that road trip.
I found myself a few times shaking my computer just to see if there was a glitch in it, but it's what it is, and we watched it for several years now that way, so it's I don't even think twice about it now, to be honest with you.
Mike, looking forward to Saturday. It's 2:00 that the Cardinals travel up to Ypsilanti, and then they are home the week after that. They have homecoming with Miami. Bryce, I know that's a game that you guys want to get back. I know it's a game that you want to be able to play in the entirety of, and I know, Mike, you have no love lost with the Red Hawks. So not to jump the gun too much, but from a home game perspective, to have homecoming as the Red Hawks, we'll talk about that more next week. These next 2 weeks are going to be really fun, aren't they?
Sir.
Always is.
Mike Neu, Bryce Cosby, Joel Godett. It's the Birdfeed Live, presented by Varsity House. 2:00 on Saturday is when the Cardinals hit the road. Our coverage begins on WLBC at 1:00 with the Northwest Bank countdown to kickoff. We're back here around noon next Monday on the Birdfeed Live from Varsity House.
This was the Varsity House Bird Feed on the Ball State Gamebridge Network.